I've lived in Bristol for just over 30 years, and I think over recent years we've seen an extraordinary growth in the economy in Bristol. It's the 10th largest city in the UK, but now ranked as the third wealthiest. And here, right in the heart of the city, we have a number of very successful businesses drawing in massive investment into the city. The engine shed just by Temple Mead Station here, phenomenal investment in the IT sector. And it's interesting, that's set against the fact that only just under a kilometre away in an area called Lawrence Hill, over 60% of the children are living in poverty. And the average for the city as a whole is over 25% of children living in poverty. So it's interesting to see that juxtaposition of wealth, but also deprivation and need across the city.
The UBS have been providing advice to our clients on how to address social issues over the last 15 years, predominantly through philanthropy, but increasingly we've seen that this topic is really important for our client base and that they want to do more than just what they're able to give away. And we believe that social impact investing is a way for people to use additional parts of their asset base to try and address social problems.
It's been an interesting journey over the last 4 or 5 years. Myself and others have recognised that there are new ways of releasing investment into the city. In the past, responding to social need has been very much, I guess, the job of charities. And there's some amazing examples in the city who continue to do tremendous work. But with the emergence of social enterprise, we're finding ways of doing the same type of work but on a more sustainable basis.
Dismantling poverty is the key purpose of the Resonance Bristol Social Investment Tax Relief Fund, and we're backing social enterprises across the city that help achieve that. The first deal that we arranged was with the Seven Project, a community interest company growing salad, selling to restaurants and other outlets across the city.
So the primary purpose is to innovate in the long-term treatment of substance misuse through the production of food, organic food, fresh, top quality food. So it is a business, and then the business generates the money, and then the money is used to generate social outcomes. So Resonance brokered a deal between us and the investors, and we got a loan of £80,000, fairly good interest rate. So what we've done is learn how to use machinery, put up over 2.5 acres of polytunnels. We had to get bigger tunnels to be able to drive the tractor through. And we spent all of that money on infrastructure so that we could generate as much revenue as we possibly could. And then that money gets used to generate more revenue through buying more infrastructure and putting more solid systems into place. So since we had that investment, we have generated nearly £200,000. But also, this infrastructure is now available to others. So we trialled the idea of satellite growers last spring, and we were instrumental in helping 3 new business starts and engaging with the prison. So strong business should generate social outcomes. That's our fundamental belief.
Resonance has been supporting social enterprises since 2002, and we now have around £100 million worth of other people's money under management. But in 2014 there was a real game changer. The government introduced the world's first social investment tax relief, enabling social enterprises to access loans at a reduced interest rate, and for investors in those social enterprises to get a 30% tax rebate.
Wealthy individuals, ultimately they're asking the question, well, what's my wealth for? Obviously partly they want to enjoy it, they want to pass it on to their families, but they also want to change the world with it. And then that really looks at questions around effectiveness. So for us, coming up with more innovative, effective ways of both giving and investing into the social sector is very important, and that's why we particularly like social investment tax relief, as we felt it was an area where, as a wealth manager that's obviously highly regulated, we could offer our clients actual investment opportunities in addition to the philanthropy advice we already provide that would enable them to start to engage in this space in a way that we could also be satisfied would meet all our regulatory requirements in terms of it being a suitable product to recommend to our clients.
So social investment tax relief is based on the successful private company equivalent, the Enterprise Investment Scheme, and to all intents and purposes it's exactly the same, except that investors get the tax relief on loans made to social enterprises as well as shares invested in them. The second investment that we arranged was a £70,000 loan into a charity called Fair Share Southwest.
We work with the food industry, particularly distribution, manufacturing and supply, to receive surplus food that would otherwise be going to landfill. A packet might be dented, the barcode might not work on a packet, the things that have Christmas on them, but the food is good quality. We deliver to around 150 organisations a week. All of those organisations work with vulnerable people. Also, we employ between 6 and 10 staff, and we engage with over 100 volunteers through the week. Half of them have been or are vulnerable in one way or another, and try to help them to get back into employment, but also becoming active members of society.
I've been here 3 years. Even my GP said, fair share is better than taking tablets. It's done a heck of a lot for me.
We got an investment which was brokered by residents, and we were also the first charity that received social investment tax relief within the country and enabled us to really ramp up our catering arm. It's called the Surplus Supper Club.
So the investments allowed us to take on another employee, which is me. We were able to get a kitchen at the St Paul's Cafe, which is an amazing space with great equipment, and it's in the centre of an amazing community. We do everything from platters like this, you know, snacky party food, all the way up to fine dining where you can order a 5-course meal. We do weddings, office lunches. We offer a whole range of catering services. It provides an amazing environment for volunteers to come and gain skills and eventually get them back into work.
I've been in very dark place for the last 10 years. I was an addict on drugs. Finally, I find myself in a better place. I'm clean for nearly 2 years. I learned to cook for my mom. 20 years ago, I immigrated to Switzerland with a contract to work in a restaurant. I worked for nearly 3 years in the kitchen. I have to do something because I'm still in GSA. I'm safe enough. I'm sure I don't do nothing wrong now. I will try to find the right job in the right time. I love being here. It's a great place to be. Yeah, very nice.
Well, this is just the beginning. We will invest in as many social enterprises and charities as we have capital for. And when we run out, we'll raise more capital and we'll keep investing as long as there are real businesses who are delivering a real intentional social impact contributing to dismantling poverty in Bristol.
I'm passionate about overcoming some of those historic issues around the fact that Bristol is often seen as a divided city. My vision is to see some of that division addressed and to bring communities and people back together again. And secondly is restored hope. You know, for many communities and people, hope has been lost. I'm so passionate to see ways in which we can restore that hope back into the city.